Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CarterMatt.com.
This video is a reaction to The Boys, Season 1, Episode 5, entitled Good for the Soul. This episode, I want to say it was good for my soul because I think it's probably my favorite episode of the show, or at least like 98% of it. There is like one moment that I wish I could yank out of there faster than A-Train runs around, but the rest of it I just thought was so interesting and compelling, and they really dived into a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah, they did.
So we will talk all about the Faith Expo, if you want to call it that. We'll discuss the current state of things for the boys and their operation, and of course Huey and Starlight's relationship.
Yep.
Before we do anything else though, if you like this video, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates.
Okay, before we get into too much of what's actually going on, there's something that happened in the last episode that also came up again in this episode. And I don't know if they're leading somewhere with this because I don't know any spoilers about the boys. I don't know anything about it. But in the fourth episode, when they were talking about the Spice Girls, there was like a fly that flew in front of one of their faces, and then you heard this really loud buzzing. I just, brushed it off as maybe bad Foley, that it was just too loud with the sound effect, and a fly happened to get into the screen. They were like, oh, well, we have to put a buzzing on it because it's there and it's our best shot.
Yeah.
Then they're walking around the expo, and this fly happened again, where there was another fly and another really loud buzzing sound. I do not know what is going on with this. It doesn't feel like an accident, but, I mean, there's still a couple more episodes to figure out what's going on, but maybe a tiny superhero that can transform into a fly? Something is off.
It's the Fly Spy. It is, maybe it's going to be a season 2 thing that they're going to set up at the end of the season.
Maybe.
It's the most action flies have had on television since Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it was just that it was so loud, this buzzing, that it felt like there's something more to it. I hope that there's something more to it and that it's not just so prominent that it makes people think that there is. I don't know if anybody else is noticing this, or this is just the old film director coming out in me being like, I noticed this weird little thing. Did anybody else notice this fly thing? Let me know in the comments. But if you do know that something's coming up, don't spoil it for me either. You can kind of just give me something general if this is something.
To be honest, I didn't notice it at all. I didn't know until you brought it up before we recorded, but it might be turning into something, but it's just one of those things where maybe it's just like a quirky little part of the show. But, the bulk of the episode, I mean, at least to me, is this exploration of superheroes and faith. And, it kind of makes a certain degree of sense because you want to believe in superheroes, and if you are these sort of commodified superheroes, you probably want people to believe in you. So to attach yourself to religion, I think it's fairly easy to understand why this would make sense for some characters in the show.
Especially when it comes to superheroes, because even though we know that these superheroes are not squeaky clean, they still want to have that persona that they are. They're heroes. So having this brand attached to faith makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does, and especially with this sort of particular convention, because it feels like everyone there is very much zealous. They really want to kind of be a part of this. They're all spending all this money to make it happen, and I think when it comes to sort of breaking down the mythos of being a superhero, the stuff with Starlight was just so good because it was sort of like, this is how far she has come in just a few months, where she can't get into any of this sort of stuff anymore, where she's just supposed to go up there on stage and puppet what other people want her to say and do.
Yeah, and it's really interesting about Starlight, too, because this is how she grew up. That we learned a lot about her in this past episode, and even in the last one, too, about how she grew up in a religious household. We've met her mom, so we do know that there's some of that going on there, too, that she didn't have her first kiss until she was like 18 or 19 because of her religious upbringing. So seeing her come to this expo and kind of wanting to go back and touch on that nostalgic feeling of, oh, I grew up with these people. It's a touchstone. It's a way for me to kind of find who I am once again. Sometimes you just can't go backwards and you just can't relive those days, and you remember the nostalgia of it and you go back and it is not what you remembered it, and you just have to keep moving forward. And that's what's happening to Starlight.
It is, and I think it was just so... It was so interesting to me seeing all the different ways that kind of manifested for her. And then also, her mom is like totally... She reminds me of just like a pageant mom, like someone who is, while you're singing on stage, is like in the audience, like mouthing the lyrics so you don't forget them.
Absolutely. And that type of a stage mom that then feels that they sacrifice for you, so now you have to succeed at whatever it is that they have sacrificed for, that now you must give back. So there must be success in this sacrifice.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of pressure, obviously. We saw it with Starlight, and she cracked.
Yeah, she cracked, and I think she had like the first real full moment of clarity. But I think what was so good about this, and I think this is what I loved about this episode, is I just loved the scene with Huey and Annie after the speech, where I feel like that is the first real opportunity that Huey has had to sort of be like, oh, maybe I really did make a mistake here.
Yeah, and just touch in actually on his own feelings. I believed everything he said to her. You saw his face in the audience. He was really having that moment of clarity where he lost his girlfriend. All these things have been happening to him, and what she was saying may not have reached everybody, but it reached him and gave them a real, genuine moment.
And I want Annie as a character to have some sort of big win, or at least a series of wins, and maybe this is the start of it, because I feel like, it's all been believable so far, but she's just went through like one horrible thing after another since the start of this show.
I was surprised that she didn't call out Deep.
Yeah.
When she was giving that speech and she said basically what happened, and they cut to him and he was like, oh no.
Yeah, his face.
His face was the same as mine. I'm like, oh, here we go. But she didn't do it.
And I'm certainly sure that she wanted to do it. I think it was probably on her head. I think it's a really kind of emblematic of sort of baby steps, where she's at a point now where she's willing to sort of rebel against some of this authority, but she's not at this point yet where she's ready to throw someone else in the Seven out there for, things that, he did. Like, he did this thing. It's not like she's spreading anything that's false, but I think if she continues on this road, she will get there. It's just a matter of sort of when she will get there.
Yeah.
I feel like Huey would have her back, but I mean, this is the thing still, though. It's like, as profound as I think that scene was between the two of them, and he, admitted to Robin's death and sort of explained that he was there for a purpose, it's still not as though he said, oh, by the way, I bugged your phone and, I used you to get this pass. He's not being still...
No. He's not being completely forthright with all this information, so... Yeah,
there's only a few episodes left, and I understand this, but still, this is going to come back to bite him in a pretty bad way.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to.
It's really just a matter of when, and I think the longer it goes, the more heartbreaking it will probably be.
Yeah, and it'll be very bad for Starlight, and I could see something like that where she it feels like he's a bit of the Starlight for her, that it's the one person. That's why she was so upset that he was like, hey, can you get me tickets? And she was just like, man, really? You too? Like, why can't I just have somebody who just sees me as me? And that's why that moment at the end when they had that talk, and she finally felt like she saw him for what he was. I could see her breaking bad after this.
I could too.
Once she finds out, because he feels like he's kind of the only real touchstone that she has to just some sort of normalcy.
Yeah, and I feel like, to me, I also just really like that they ended it with a hug between the two of them, that they didn't like push it to some other level, because I don't think that would have been right for that character.
No, you can't be like, oh, my girlfriend is dead and now let's have a kiss. Like, would not have worked out. No, the hug was the right way to go, that it's bringing their, couple dates and their friendship building into something else.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk now about the storyline that ended in a place where I was really uncomfortable, and that is the weirdness of Homelander and Madeline. Okay, see, here's the thing with this.
They have been building to this. This is not a surprise. I thought this was going to happen earlier, and I actually thought they were going to go all out whenever it was going to happen.
The moment that the buttons started happening, I was starting to be like, nope, I cannot watch this. I cannot do it. And they didn't go all the way, and in some ways I am kind of surprised by that, because this is the boys, and
yeah, I'm really surprised that they didn't go all the way with that, and I feel like they needed to with this scene. It felt like a little bit of a cop-out. This is a crazy show where anything goes. Like, literally anything has been going on in this show. So for them to just stop short like that was... As the moment was coming, I was like, okay, I knew this was coming. They've been kind of leading up to it. All right, we're going to have this horribly uncomfortable moment. Bring it on. And then, it just stopped short. And I was like, oh, okay. It's getting uncomfortable, but now it's kind of like,
Yeah, I didn't like the way that they ended this for a couple of different reasons. I mean, just I probably wouldn't have liked it regardless of what they did because of where they went with it, but it does make sense for those characters. I just think, this is what I'm actually wondering is, I know that there were some other scenes that they had planned with the boys that were sort of cut out at the last minute, mostly because they thought that they went a little bit too far. I wonder if this is something that Amazon was like, no, you cannot absolutely do that by any stretch of the imagination. But they could have shot it in a way where you didn't really see what was going on.
Yes, absolutely. They could have shot it in a way that they didn't see what was going on. And that I would have been fine with that as well. I didn't need to actually see it.
No.
But I didn't need to see that it was just some fingers and it was sort of like a mocking of this. I don't know. It kind of lost a little bit of that. This show has just been like bam, 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 bam. And then this was just like, oh, okay, I'm going to feel really icky after this scene. I know it. But this show makes me feel like that sometimes. So, okay, I'm here for the ride. And then it was just like, boop.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. This is what I got. Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess the takeaway is ultimately the same, that obviously Homelander has some very serious Freudian issues. I think we can change his name to Freudlander, and that would be more than fine.
Yeah.
He does not want any attention on anybody other than him, and if you don't give him attention, he's going to storm up on stage and deliver some really crazy pants speech that's going to get everybody really riled up.
Basically the same as having a temper tantrum. And then mommy's got to come in and clean it all up.
Can we name any redeeming quality to Homelander? Like, is there one thing that is actually good about this guy? Because I cannot think of it right now.
He's got a cool outfit.
Okay, all right, there we go. Homelander, your costume is all right, but you are a liar, you are a jerk, you are really, really creepy. Oh yeah, and by the way, you're also a mass murdering sociopath, so there's that as well.
Yep.
There's just so many bad people on this show. I mean, the A-Train, everything that's going on with this guy. I mean, how have we gotten almost 14 minutes into this video? He just straight up murders Popclaw at the start of the episode.
Yeah, and I felt like it was probably going to have to go there because of what she's done. But it was interesting to see that he did feel bad about it. He really actually did have feelings for her, and that it wasn't an easy thing for him to do. And going back and rewatching the tapes, and obviously he has now seen what's happened.
Yeah.
But it was something that I wasn't actually sure that I was expecting to see.
Yeah, I think A-Train has a tiny bit of humanity. I don't think he is 100% insane. He's not full Homelander. There is a person that is in there, but I think whether it's just all the compound V, the ego, being around Homelander, he has been horribly corrupted. And maybe there would be another universe if he had better heroes himself, or he didn't turn out like this.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like everybody who's part of the Seven is afraid of Homelander. We've seen it with Queen Maeve, we've seen it with the Deep, now we've seen it with A-Train. He's got either something on everyone, or everyone is just afraid of him because they all know that he is a psychopath.
Yeah, and it seems like the only recourse Maeve really has in dealing with him is just walking away from situations that she doesn't want to be a part of.
Yeah.
And we got a little bit of backstory for her in this episode with a past relationship and
the drinking.
Yeah,
that she's been in AA and she's trying to clean that up, but is now not cleaned up.
No, it's not going well for her at all, but it's obvious that she has been haunted by being a part of this group for a long time, and she doesn't really have any sort of stability.
Yeah, and it seems like this relationship was some stability for her.
Yeah, and she messed it up somehow.
Yeah, and it's not clear if it's she couldn't be in that relationship because she's part of the Seven, that they want to keep everybody single pretty much, or like what the deal was, but obviously it's something she hasn't been able to let go of.
And, it's an interesting show with the boys. We haven't even talked really about the boys themselves, and, we're 16 minutes in, but I think that's a strength to a lot of the other characters that they have. And, it's not as though Billy Butcher or Frenchie or Mother's Milk are bad characters.
Yeah, no, that's true, because... Yeah, let's get into them. So let's talk about Frenchie, because he's my
your guy.
Dude. Yeah. I've really enjoyed seeing his relationship with this new character who still doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
And just how he's spent the time to work in a real trust with her. And now he's been burned, so he knows that he's on the run now. And it was cool to see her jump in and help while A-Train and Black Noir, who we never see on this show.
Yeah.
It's interesting that we have the Seven and Black Noir, nobody talks about him. There's nothing we know about him. We're 5 episodes in.
Yeah. And, I guess that's kind of intentional, but it is still weird.
He's frightening.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how people look up to this character as a part of because there's nothing that's really...
No, he's really scary. Watching him fight her in that alleyway and pulling out those knives and everything that was going on with him, he's really frightening.
Yeah.
The costume that they've put him in, and sort of that he doesn't really ever say anything and nobody knows anything about him. He feels off-brand for the Seven, because the rest of them are all yeah, let's help out, let's do this. And then there's this guy who's just all in black with knives and frightening and menacing and almost I guess, their quiet version of Batman.
He is if we were to say the Seven is a basketball team, Black Noir is the guy who you just put in to foul other people and impose everything. Nobody's gonna really like them all that much, but they get the job done.
Yeah.
And we also apparently learned though that, this mystery woman, she's got some stuff going on herself. Right when it appears that she is gone, nope,
she Wolverine the situation and healed herself.
Yeah, so we've got
so she's got super strength and she's got healing powers. So there's a lot going on with her.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with her. Very interesting allegiances that are happening there. I like her story with Frenchie. Yeah. We randomly got a Billy Butcher side plot kind of in the middle of all of this. It really felt random.
It did feel a little bit random, but we need to know more of what's going on. So it seems like his wife is actually not necessarily dead. She's just been missing for 8 years or something. So, it seems like her sister and everyone else in the family's put up a headstone. They want to be able to move on. But Billy's not having it because he's not convinced that she's dead, even though she's been gone for so long now that he's holding on to the hope. Yeah. Where everyone else is ready to move forward.
He is just ready to bash that headstone.
Yeah.
That's all Billy, I think he just lives in that moment, and I think that's obviously what's driving him to a certain degree of, I will not get over this, and I cannot get over this.
Yeah, until I've taken care of every soup on the planet.
Well, we're 5 episodes in now, and because these episodes are longer, it feels like it's actually probably like 6 or 7 if they were like 45-minute episodes. But yeah. I really think this show it's strong, it's interesting, it's dynamic, and it's really, honestly, it's addicting. Like, I want to watch the next one right now.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. This is a very special show in that I want to get into the next one. And, we've been journalists a really long time, watching TV 10 years and covering TV for 10 years. And there's not a lot of shows that really hit me like that where I want to watch the next one right away. I'm more of a person who likes to watch a show, talk about a show, enjoy a show. I can wait a little while, have those conversations, and then get into the next one. But not this show. I need to finish this video and go and watch another one.
Well, you're in luck because we are finishing it right now. So let us know what you guys thought about episode 5 when you first saw it. And if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking that link in the description to the Carter Matt store. And we'll see you here next time.